pelajar-pelajar yang ada terutama di Sabah, mereka tidak mempunyai keyakinan untuk mengambil subjek atau pendidikan STEM. Mereka mempunyai persepsi bahwa mata pelajaran ini adalah mata pelajaran yang sukar.
Traveling infrastructure, roads and access to transportation can be costly or very difficult. If some pedalaman no road, have to ikut sungai. Yeah, still this happening in Sabah.
Some even use perahu, right?
Yeah, perahu or jalan kaki for 1 hour. So when you talk about access, it's a bit of a challenge when it comes to pedalaman.
We make the choice with every step, with every stride. We're the whole.
Hello Internet, welcome to another episode of Kopitiam Council with Hafiz and Adi, coming to you straight from the American Corner here at the Sabah State Library. So if you've ever wanted to start your own podcast or share your ideas through media, much like what me and Hafiz do, this is the perfect space for you. The American Corner provides everything you need: mics, lights, cameras, all set up and ready for action. The initiative is all about empowering young citizens through education and media creation. And we're excited to be hosting an episode right here. So book your space, the American Corner at the Sabah State Library. But why are we here? Hafiz will be explaining to you why on this particular episode.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not just another episode, because right here you can see this is a Voice to Action project, which is a collaboration between Kopitiam Council and, of course, Sabah Action Body Advocating Rights, or what we call it, SABAR. And over the months and weeks ahead, we'll dive deep into Sabah's most pressing issues, namely education, healthcare, infrastructure, and also good governance. So these are pressing issues in Sabah, and each episode will bring experts to talk about and share insights, what's really going on in perspective for the challenges ahead we are facing today.
But it doesn't end there. We're not just bringing experts to talk, but we're also having to publish key takeaways through newspapers to open up discussions for public input. So you, as the audience, will have the chance to share your views, suggest solutions, and be part of the change through this online platform and an upcoming town hall meeting that will be organized by Sabah coming very soon, so stay tuned for that. So all the good ideas and recommendations that will be brought from this discussion and from you as well will be compiled into a report for submission to the state government and our own leaders for consideration, adoption, and implementation, because at the end of the day, it's the people's voice that matters, and most importantly, your voice matters. So stay tuned, and let's turn voices into action, shaping Sabah's future together. Without the introductions aside, let us move on to introducing our two speakers for today. Hafiz, who do we have?
So today we have a theme of education, and for education, specifically we talk about STEM subjects. I would like to introduce Mr. Frederick Leong Soandu. He is a holder of an honors bachelor degree in math education. He is currently math teacher in Sekolah Jenis Kebangsaan Shangkau here in KK.
Well, we're pleased to welcome Sonia Chin, a leading expert in early childhood education with over 20 years of experience in curriculum development, teacher training, and child advocacy. She's also the Vice President of Persatuan Tadika Sabah and Sabah's representative for the ECCE Council Malaysia. So she's passionate about child safeguarding and quality education. She has led initiatives like the Keep Kids Safe program and chaired the International Early Childhood Conference 2023. With a master's in early childhood education from University Malaya, she continues to be inspiration in shaping policies to educators that we want to see improve and become better, and teaching our kids to become stronger and more passionate individuals and citizens. So, without further ado, I think we can get into the questions, the nitty-gritty of it, Hafiz.
All right, and let's start with the gentleman next to me, Mr. Frederick. Mr. Frederick, especially di Malaysia, di Sabah, kenapa subjek STEM tu satu yang jadi priority kita lah sebagai masyarakat di Sabah ni?
Oke, terima kasih untuk pertanyaan yang tersebut. Oke, pendidikan STEM, yaitu sains, teknologi, kejuruteraan, dan matematik, sangat penting untuk masa depan Malaysia karena ia memainkan peranan utama dalam membangun modal insan yang berkemahiran tinggi serta memperkukuh daya saing negara dalam era revolusi industri 4.0. Berikut adalah beberapa sebab utama mengapa pendidikan STEM itu penting diperkukuhkan di negara kita di Malaysia. Yang pertama adalah meningkatkan daya saing ekonomi negara. Kemudian yang kedua adalah memacu inovasi dan teknologi. Karena kemajuan dalam bidang kecerdasan buatan AI, otomasi tenaga boleh diperbaharui dan bioteknologi memerlukan tenaga kerja yang mempunyai asas kukuh dalam STEM. Pendidikan STEM akan membantu menghasilkan penyelidikan dan inovasi yang boleh membawa Malaysia ke tahap yang lebih maju. Sebab yang seterusnya adalah untuk menjana peluang pekerjaan masa depan. Karena kita tahu banyak pekerjaan konvensional bakal digantikan oleh otomasi dan kecerdasan buatan. Pendidikan STEM membekalkan pelajar dengan kemahiran yang relevan bagi memenuhi permintaan pasaran kerja dalam bidang berteknologi tinggi seperti sains data, kejuruteraan, robotik, dan juga pembangunan perisian. Dan alasan yang berikut adalah menyelesaikan masalah sosial dan alam sekitar. Cabaran seperti perubahan iklim, kekurangan sumber tenaga, dan isu kesihatan boleh ditangani melalui penyelesaian saintifik dan teknologi. Pendidikan STEM membantu melahirkan generasi yang mampu berfikir secara kritis dan kreatif dalam menangani masalah-masalah tersebut. Kenapa pendidikan STEM begitu penting? Karena juga dapat menyokong agenda wawasan kemakmuran bersama 2030. Malaysia berhasrat menjadi negara maju dengan ekonomi berpendapatan tinggi menjelang 2030. Pendidikan STEM memainkan peranan penting dalam meningkatkan produktiviti dan inovasi yang merupakan asas kepada pertumbuhan ekonomi yang mampan. Dan kepentingan STEM yang berikutnya adalah meningkatkan kemahiran berfikir aras tinggi. STEM bukan sekadar mengajar teori, tetapi juga menekankan pembelajaran secara praktikal, penyelesaian masalah, serta kreativiti. Ini membantu pelajar membangun pemikiran logik dan kemahiran analitikal yang berguna dalam kehidupan dan kerja. Dan yang berikut, kepentingan STEM, pendidikan STEM adalah mengurangkan kebergantungan kepada tenaga asing. Malaysia masih bergantung banyak kepada tenaga asing buat masa ini dalam sektor teknologi dan kejuruteraan. Apabila pelajar-pelajar kita mahir di dalam pendidikan STEM, maka kita dapat menghasilkan atau melahirkan lebih ramai profesional tempatan yang dapat mengisi jurang tenaga kerja berkemahiran tinggi. Itu pendapat saya.
Saya mau tambah sikit, Encik Frederick. Pasal kau sudah sebut STEM ni memang penting. Memang dia ada kesan kepada ekonomi, kepada sosial kan. Tetapi ini andaian saya lah. Saya nampak tidak macam kesemangatan daripada macam anak muda untuk masuk ambil topik macam subjek STEM atau macam subjek vocational. Macam sekarang boleh nampak trend untuk cari kerja dalam service industry, service sector macam tu. Pasal itu ekonomi Sabah kan yang paling tinggi. So macam mana kita boleh naikkan kesemangatan dan kesedaran untuk anak muda dan anak belia Sabah untuk mengikuti, untuk push forward untuk ambil semua subjek ni?
Ya, ini disebabkan karena pelajar-pelajar yang ada terutama di Sabah, mereka tidak mempunyai keyakinan untuk mengambil subjek atau pendidikan STEM. Karena mereka mempunyai persepsi bahwa mata pelajaran ini adalah mata pelajaran yang sukar. Jadi mereka willing to ambil subjek-subjek yang agak santai, yang agak ringan daripada mengambil subjek tersebut.
Masa saya student pun sama seperti itu. Saya benci betul STEM.
Yeah.
Alright, we talk about STEM kan. We cannot run away from pre-childhood education as well. So this preschool childhood education is very important, which is will sort of decide which they will take STEM in their tertiary education or not. So, Ms. Sonia, what are the main obstacles to access preschool education, especially in Sabah? We know, you could say geographically or even financially. But from your point of view, what is the biggest?
Well, first of all, maybe I answer your say a few things about STEM.
Go ahead.
I always believe that the education starts from the youngest, even when before they reach to school, they learn through play and they learn through fun. So they are already doing STEM, like when they observe nature or they try to fix things together when they play. These are all actually skills they need in STEM. However, I think in the interim, while they are preparing for the formal school education, where reading, writing, and mathematics has a more prominent and more important focus, that all these things are sort of like having fun, exploring, and like solving problems is the second level of skill necessary to succeed academically. So maybe that is one of the key um, things that we should look at if we really want to encourage our children to take STEM when they reach secondary school, and don't fear, like you say, you hate science, kan? Yeah. Lah. So I mean, for young children, the adults are the one, we must give them opportunity. Let them make the decisions themselves. When we are younger at this age, there is no pressure to have an A in science or like pass your exam paper, but more of a discovery, a journey of discovery, a journey of learning and exploring and independence, of their own understanding of the world that they live in. Yeah, so I think the key to making sure that our children in the future love STEM, we must let them explore and express without having the pressure of performing.
Yeah, well, I don't have kids yet, but I'm definitely gonna take what you said to heart and make sure they explore, and hopefully they can find some interest in STEM. Yeah, that's the best way. But Miss Sonia, when it comes to this more letting the kids have their own decision to give them that agency from early on, right? That seems to be a very I don't know, maybe in Malaysia that's a very out of the ordinary idea because maybe we have the Asian parenting stigma, which is the kids are put into a particular pathway right from the get-go. Whereas when you look at in like Scandinavian countries, there's so much agency for children over there. In terms of mindset, what is stopping us from thinking at that, adopting that mindset that maybe Scandinavian countries have adopted?
I think firstly it's to do with the social, the environment. In Malaysia, we have both parents working because they need to earn a living to make ends meet. Having relaxed and like family time sometimes take second priorities in life. So in order to change, like what you say in Scandinavia, it's a whole total like community shift in their thinking of what is the essence of life. What kind of children do we want to bring up? What kind of environment do you want your children to live in? Yeah, so the general pace, like stages for a child, right? Okay, go to kindergarten. Once you hit primary school, tuition. Yeah, does that ring a bell? Tuition, after tuition, exam, and then holiday also need to go to tuition, or you have the class, piano class. They seem to be more busy than a working person.
Up until 9 p.m., 10 p.m. sometimes, I guess.
If you remember for like my time, I don't remember going to so many tuition. I remember doing a lot of playing. I turned out okay. Yeah, so it's what we want. We think that we're giving them all this more knowledge and information, it will give them a better future. But is that what they enjoy? Yeah. And is it necessary? Like now we want to go into TVET, we want to go into STEM. It's like sort of diverting away from the traditional academic requirements to succeed in life. Right now, you don't need to have a degree. You can go and be a YouTuber. You can make a living also, right? Yeah. So
More than a living.
gee, but our parents, our minds still following the original traditional, what we should do, what is the formula for successful life. Yeah.
I want to go back to Mr. Frederick here. Government policy flip-flop sometimes. Dulu, I still remember during my time kan, EST was introduced. So belajar English. Lepas tu, after my batch, you have to learn in English. So sometimes English, sometimes dual language, sometimes Malay balik. Would this be a hindrance kah kalau kita introduce satu bahasa saja ke over the other, ataupun patutkah kita teruskan dengan program dual language tu?
Pada pendapat saya bahwa DLP atau Dual Language Program itu adalah satu program yang sangat penting. Manfaat yang kita boleh dapat daripada program ini yaitu DLP untuk agar pelajar mempunyai keyakinan untuk mengambil subjek STEM itu atau pendidikan STEM itu di peringkat sekolah menengah, secara khusus di tingkatan 4 dan tingkatan 5 sebelum mereka further study ke university. Antara manfaat DLP adalah meningkatkan penguasaan bahasa Inggris pelajar-pelajar tersebut. Khususnya di dalam beberapa subjek-subjek yang dikenal sebagai pendidikan STEM, dan juga meningkatkan keyakinan pelajar untuk melanjutkan pengajian di peringkat STEM supaya tidak seperti apa yang disebutkan tadi bahwa subjek ini adalah merupakan subjek yang menakutkan, yang digeruni. Apabila mereka sudah deal atau mempunyai keyakinan bahwa subjek ini sebenarnya bukanlah subjek yang killer, bukan subjek yang susah, bila minat dan keyakinan mereka sudah ditangani, maka saya ingat itu akan membantu mereka untuk mencintai atau sangat menghargai pendidikan STEM. Jadi memang banyak membantu DLP, program DLP itu adalah sangat membantu pelajar-pelajar untuk build the confidence dalam bahasa Inggris. DLP juga memperbaiki akses kepada sumber pembelajaran global. Karena kita tahu bahwa semua sumber pembelajaran berkualiti tinggi dalam bidang STEM itu diterbitkan di dalam banyak di dalam bahasa Inggris. Dan pelajar juga terbiasa dengan bahasa Inggris akan lebih mudah menyesuaikan diri dengan bahan-bahan tersebut. Kemudian ini juga DLP juga dapat membantu para pelajar untuk meningkatkan daya saing untuk pasaran kerja yang akan datang.
Ya, mau tambah dengan tu Encik, pasal pengam juga bila mengkaitkan dengan kalau dari segi komunikasi kan. Kalau semua faham dalam dual language program, boleh pergi kerja di Malaysia, boleh keluar negara, berhijrah, cari peluang di negara lain. Dan saya rasa ini saya mau kembali kepada TVET, because tiap kali, macam tiap tahun saya nampak, atau tiap 2 bulan, saya selalu nampak college vocational Keningau selalu ada award cemerlang kepada dia punya cikgu, dia punya guru atau dia punya pelajar juga. Kena pergi wakil Malaysia di Taipei, di UK, di Europe, semua di seluruh negara, seluruh dunia. So macam memang ada potensi dalam TVET kan, tetapi ini andaian saya lagi lah, kenapa tidak banyak bila nampak dari segi national tak banyak fokus kan kepada semua ni, like awards dan semua ni achievements dari bukan Sabah, dari Keningau, dari area memang di area hinterland Sabah. Mungkin Encik boleh kongsikan kenapa ni jarang jadi national news. Memang jadi state news, tapi national news.
Mereka tidak sampai ke level tersebut. Karena mungkin disebabkan dalam pertandingan yang mereka sertai, mereka tidak dapat bersaing dengan dengan pelajar-pelajar cemerlang daripada beberapa buah negeri yang lain yang ada di Malaysia ini. Jadi itu sebabnya kita perlu betul-betul mencari satu kaidah bagaimana supaya pelajar-pelajar kita sangat terampil dan sangat cemerlang di dalam pendidikan STEM dan juga di dalam TVET. Saya rasa ini juga ada kemungkinan besar mempunyai pengaruh disebabkan oleh karena fasiliti atau infrastruktur yang agak terhad kita boleh peroleh di negeri Sabah. Jadi terutama di bagian-bagian luar bandar. Jadi faktor infrastruktur dan sokongan ini juga perlu ditingkatkan agar kita dapat menggalakkan pelajar-pelajar untuk mengambil dan meminati subjek STEM ini.
I want to bring Ms. Sonia back. We mentioned about Finland just now. You said it's a total change of the whole country. It's not just certain system in that country and whatnot. It's the people, the society, everything is a total change. But back to Sabah, how do you see the relationship between Sabah state government and a private kindergarten provider? Do you see the relationship as a complementary, or or something that you think can be improved more?
Well, of course, the best is if we are working hand in hand together with the state, private and state government kindergartens. We are not rivalries, but actually we are working together. Big team. I've been to Finland and I see the system. There are more state-run kindergartens compared to private. A lot of the state-run kindergartens very well equipped. Yes, they have a lot of services. For example, they have 24-hour care. So let's say if you are a stewardess and you fly, your hours are like upside down. Sometimes you are here in the daytime, but in the air at the night time, you don't have family to care for your children. So you can actually put them at the daycare, the 20 or 24-hour care.
Oh, it's like 7-Eleven there.
Yeah, so they have services to help parents so that they can do their work well and not have to think about what do I do with my children. So in terms of like access to preschool education for Sabah, there are two areas, rural and we have urban, pedalaman dan bandar lah. So for bandar access, actually you have choice. You can choose like private high-end or like a middle range or like a lower. Or there is also government, which is practically almost free lah. But in the rural area, there are private, which is for Sabah, most of it are run by NGO. There is prasekolah and kemas in certain locations. But when you look at the landscape of where our people are placed, they are in the kampong, they are very spaced out. So, and traveling infrastructure, roads and access to transportation can be costly or very difficult. If some pedalaman, no road, have to ikut sungai. Yeah, there's still this happening in Sabah.
Some even use perahu, right?
Yeah, perahu or jalan kaki for 1 hour. So, so when you talk about access, it's a bit of a challenge when it comes to pedalaman. Yes. So in terms of challenges, if you talk about government run and private, for the private, the one big challenge is financial sustainability. Financial sustainability, because for the private sector, the main source of income is through school fees. The school fees you collect from students enrolled in your school. So if there is a drop in student enrollment, of course, your income will be less, right? And then, like this month, we had the adjustment of the minimum wage. So that will be incur additional expenses. Okay, so there's some kindergartens they run half day, but they still pay teachers following the minimum wage. That's a full day. Yeah, but they collect only half day school fees. So this is a challenge for private kindergartens to maintain income to cover expenses. Yeah, and then food costs, you cannot control that. It goes up, and stationery and books and things like that. So and the main expense would be teacher salaries. Yeah. So of course you want quality education. You need to hire qualified teachers with at least a diploma or a degree. So we must pay them a proper salary based on their
Qualifications.
of education, right? So a lot of private kindergarten, sometimes we cannot pay what we would wish to pay them because the income they receive is limited. Yeah. The only way we can do that is to charge. I'm sure in KL, the fees compared to Sabah is very big difference. Yes. So that is one of the main challenges that private sector will face. Yeah. So if you compare this in the rural area, lagi teruk. Some private kindergartens, they charge as low as 20 ringgit a month.
How?
Yeah, how do you pay your staff? So they have to outsource
Volunteer. So
sponsors to pay for staff salary, so that these children get opportunity to attend, can have early education, preschool education. Some don't even give money; they barter, give you jagung, sayur. Yeah, it still happens in Sabah. Yes, so this is the challenge private kindergartens face, especially those in the rural area.
So, because you mentioned Finland, it's heavily state owned. The state is what's managing a lot of the kindergarten
For Finland.
for Finland, yeah.
Yes.
And it seems like private education kindergarten providers, it would be very hard for them to set up in rural areas. So that means the state would have to compensate where private sector is not able to. But because Sabah is so huge, right? And the rural areas, memang rural. It's hard to enter, and you mentioned NGOs, right? So would you think it would be conducive if we move from a state-centric approach to a community-led approach that empowers the communities so that they can be sustainable, self-reliant without needing so much assistance or oversight from the state?
I think there are initiatives who have tried this model out. Comes down again to sustainability. After the assistance has ended, can they survive on their own? That's the question. Will the community own this kindergarten and make sure that it is running and it will sustain? That one, you cannot force it on somebody. It has to be like an initiative that is coming from them. So changing people's mindset is not an easy task. It takes time. It takes generations to like change the mindset. So it's a long journey to get what you are proposing. But I mean, how can government help? It is one of the dasar to have 100% enrollment of children in kindergartens, at least age 6. So the government is working towards that. They're opening a lot of prasekolah in primary schools. Last year they opened quite a number. I think it will be a continuous effort because they want to ensure access to as many as possible. For in terms of Sabah, because of the spread, not that easy to do this. But yeah, because they are, especially in rural, they are very spread out. Yeah.
Lagi lah perlu macam makmal kimia, mungkin matematik kalau advance algebra perlukan instrumen yang khusus kan. Jadi kalau di rural area ni, di kawasan-kawasan pedalaman, apa yang kerajaan di Sabah boleh buat dengan sumber yang kita ada ni? Mungkin dari sisi polisi ke apa yang Sabah ni boleh buat hari ini untuk membantu secara dengan segeralah orang yang di pedalaman.
Ya, seperti yang saya katakan sebentar tadi bahwa salah satu faktor atau cabaran utama pendidikan STEM secara khusus di pedalaman, kawasan-kawasan pedalaman atau di luar bandar, itu adalah infrastruktur dan juga sokongan yang sangat kurang, yang sangat prihatin lah, yang perlu ditekankan. Jadi ya bagi saya rasa bahwa semua pihak perlu memainkan peranan untuk agar infrastruktur atau keperluan-keperluan asas yang diperlukan untuk pendidikan STEM secara khusus di luar bandar itu harus dipenuhi dan harus diadakan. Jadi semua pihak harus memainkan peranan masing-masing. Yang pertama, saya rasa ya jelas pihak sekolah harus sentiasa maklumkan apakah keperluan-keperluan untuk sekolah tersebut kepada pihak yang berwajib agar tindakan-tindakan segera itu boleh diambil oleh pihak yang berwajib. Dan saya rasa kalau permohonan sekali dua tidak percaya, kita harus berkali-kali untuk sampaikan permohonan tersebut agar semua perlengkapan itu dapat ditangani. Itu dari segi pihak sekolah. Dari pihak ibu bapak, saya juga rasa mereka juga mempunyai peranan untuk agar pihak kerajaan memberi perhatian kepada kawasan-kawasan luar bandar untuk agar infrastruktur bukan hanya ya mungkin seperti yang telah dikongsikan oleh Puan Sonia tadi, dari segi jalan raya juga harus diperbaiki dan sebagainya. Kemudian dari segi kemudahan makmal dan sebagainya juga harus ditambah baik dan dilengkapi lah semua perlengkapan yang perlu agar pendidikan STEM ini dapat dijalankan dengan, kalau boleh dikatakan, kalau tidak 100% sama dengan di bandar pun mendekati apa yang berlaku di bandar.
Just going back to you, Ms. Sonia, because you talked about the challenges of not just the preschools but the teachers as well, because they consider also the unsung heroes, teachers, in their roles and educators, right? So in the situation we have now, what challenges do teachers face when it comes to teaching preschool children? What are the existing challenges that we have now?
First, we are coming from educators' point of view. Professional development is always something that I would encourage for teachers to keep improving themselves professionally. So in the private sector, it's not easily accessible. Even if it is, it's quite costly, because who bears the cost of this training actually all goes to the kindergarten, and they send the teacher for some professional development training. So I mean, if government can sort of help,
Subsidize, incentivize.
subsidize or allow private sector to join the government sector's training. For private sector, we have really big schools with 400 over students, and then we have the really small schools. So in terms of resources and infrastructure for the school, so it varies. Yeah, so it varies from one school to the other. So say if that school doesn't have much resources, then the teacher's limited. Sometimes you use your own money to buy resources. So compared to a school who has all the, stuff, things that you need. So the teacher's job, they have all these resources ready available for them to carry out their work easily and to teach That's one. Another one is late. For the past few years, we are noticing a lot an increase in children with special needs turning up at our doorstep. Diagnosed, undiagnosed, slow speech, no speech, behavioral issues, cannot sit still, still in diapers, and etc. So you imagine you are a kindergarten teacher with just a class size of 12 and you have 2 children who don't sit still. It is already a challenge to manage a class of 12, 10, because you have one kid running around all over the place. The kindergarten teachers are not trained specifically how to deal with children who have special needs. Yeah, but yet every day they are facing children who have these needs, and some of them, they are like in, where should they go? They jump from school to school, but they go to this school, after a while school we cannot handle. So they find another school who can try to help until they also, if they say, oh, we cannot handle, then they are like going from school. And then there's not much support to help families who have children with special needs.
Do we have specific schools and specific syllabus for special needs children?
Specific schools in the private sector, there are a few. Of course, it costs a lot, yes. Under government, they do have, they call them PDK, and also they have PPKI, which is with the primary schools. But not all primary schools have these classes available. And you have to get an OKU card to enroll into these classes. So the child needs to be diagnosed first. So a lot of parents, they are still in denial at this stage, hoping that, oh, in due time,
It'll somehow fix itself.
yeah, it sort of go away. But when it doesn't go away, then they're like, oh no, how no? So, yeah. Teachers face this so as we need to monitor and make sure they're not too overstressed until they have mental breakdowns. It does happen, yeah, because they have to remain their cool, yeah, at all times. Yes.
Mr. Frederick, tadi ada mention pasal sistem di Finland semua tu kan. Last week saya baca news about Finland ni. Di playground dia di design, dicipta khas untuk supaya budak-budak ni dia boleh pandai coding, programming komputer. Apa pandangan Cik Frederick kalau penglibatan digitalisasi kepada STEM pula? Adakah rasanya itu menjadi satu yang dialu-alukan ataupun setengah orang berpendapat ianya sebagai distraction saja? Tidak payah terlampau, konsep yang kita belum proven. Stick apa yang kita dah tahu selama ni, ataupun adakah Cik Frederick optimis kalau kita incorporate lagi banyak teknologi, lagi banyak minat anak muda terhadap STEM?
Sebenarnya STEM dengan teknologi itu tidak boleh dipisahkan. Okay, karena itu sebabnya
Itu asas dia kan,
ya,
STEM itu asas.
STEM itu adalah Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. Jadi semua itu adalah disepadukan menjadi satu pendidikan STEM. Jadi oleh karena saling berkait rapat, bagi saya kita tidak jadi masalah untuk kalau ada ruang yang cukup di compound sekolah tersebut, apa tidak kita wujudkan kemudahan-kemudahan seperti itu untuk meningkatkan lagi minat para pelajar. Tetapi masalahnya sekolah-sekolah yang ada di Malaysia kebanyakan, terutama di Sabah lah, sekolah-sekolah dengan compound yang tidak mencukupi, sedangkan kelas saja pun tidak cukup, terhad. Jadi dan dengan keadaan kelas yang terhad itu juga akan menimbulkan satu isu yang baru, yaitu bilangan pelajar di dalam kelas itu cukup ramai. Dan apabila bilangan pelajar dalam satu kelas begitu ramai, bagaimana seorang guru dapat dan handle dalam kelas tersebut agar pelajar-pelajar semua pay attention ketika guru mengajar dan dapat memastikan pelajar-pelajar dapat belajar sesuatu sepanjang persekolahan mereka pada hari tersebut.
Cikgu pun pening kan kalau atas 40 ya.
Ya, mau tambah lagi Encik. Saya pernah ada ni bincangan dengan kawan lah. Dia bilang STEM versus TVET. Macam kena lawankan kan. So dia bilang STEM ni fundamental. Memang fundamental punya knowledge, ilmu fundamental mesti mathematics, science, technology, especially zaman sekarang. Dan dia bilang TVET ni macam mau naikkan skills je untuk kemahiran, macam kemahiran hidup, yang fikir macam kemahiran hidup lah, yang studies. Dan dia bilang sekarang di pasal kerajaan negeri dia mau bagikan emphasis kepada TVET. Ada detractor yang bilang oh ini trend baru saja, ni ikut trend pasal nampak di negara lain buat sama juga. Tetapi adakah risiko dengan tu, kalau ada memang merit dia punya argument, memang ada risiko yang kita mungkin overcompensate, mungkin di masa depan tak tahu bila ada ramai orang masuk TVET sampai tidak orang betul-betul masuk STEM sudah. Pasal kita ni macam kita nampak ni sebagai cabaran atau isu pasal ada shortage labor. So mungkin adakah itu risiko?
Bagi saya risiko itu ada, tetapi kita berbalik kepada keberadaan setiap pelajar. Jadi pelajar bukan semua minat mereka sama. Ada pelajar cenderung kepada STEM, ada pelajar cenderung kepada TVET. Itu sebabnya kenapa kita memberi ruang dan kesempatan untuk pelajar-pelajar memilih berdasarkan potensi dan juga minat yang mereka ada. Sama ada mereka mau teruskan di dalam pendidikan STEM ataupun di dalam TVET. Saya berpendapat bahwa kerajaan mengambil pendekatan seperti ini karena mereka sadar bahwa setiap pribadi itu tidak sama. Jadi itu sebabnya mereka coba mendekati atau menawarkan pendidikan STEM dan juga TVET itu bersama-sama. Seperti yang saya katakan tadi bahwa setiap pihak itu harus memainkan peranan. Karena dari sanalah kita dapat kenal pasti apakah potensi dan juga minat yang ada pada seorang pelajar tersebut. Apabila kecenderungan mereka dan minat mereka mau tuh pendidikan STEM, kenapa tidak kita galakkan mereka ke sana? Dan apabila seseorang itu lebih kepada potensi dan minat mereka lebih kepada TVET, kita shift mereka ke bagian itu supaya mereka dapat berkembang dan mereka juga enjoy di dalam pendidikan mereka dan mereka akan berhasil menjadi seorang insan yang berguna di masa depan.
Cakap pasal enjoy education, I want to go back to Sonia again. In Netherlands, there's a compound or place set up by elderly folk homes, and then they also at the same time taking care of the young kids. So it's sort of like old folks home, also doing kind of kindergarten, something like that. What do you think the role of parents and society in Malaysia? Maybe we don't do exactly that, but what do you see from your own experience, from your own knowledge, what we can implement directly, especially in Sabah, without actually further funding? Because when it comes to funding, of course, the bigger the better. But what we can do straight away, especially the society.
So you're talking about parents and children or senior citizens with children?
Either way,
The example you
The-
are doing is
senior citizens.
senior citizens and preschool children, right? It's funny you should ask that because last year in my kindergarten we did a pilot.
Okay.
To encourage children to communicate with seniors. This was an initiative, the pilot project under APMS. So we are still in the progress of seeing how it will work. The setup from the example that you mentioned is childcare And in the next to the childcare is a senior home. So they share the same compound. So they have their space, but there are certain times where they will do activities together. Is to encourage it's sort of like a win-win where the young children will learn how to socialize with a senior. And then the senior, rather than sit there and do nothing, they hope they be motivated by the young child to like get up and exercise or something like that. Yeah, or even things like eat your medicine. So what we did was I brought a group of 6 years old to visit a senior home near my kindergarten. Because normally when we bring them for a visit, we just go one time and it's a one-off thing. And then it's like, oh, shock. And then go balik, oh yeah, we thought, then finish story. So we decided we will go back 2 times to the same center, the same children. We brought a few parents along, and then after each visit, we will interview children and ask about how they feel when they go. So from this pilot project, we discovered that actually we were so worried whether the children can interact, and then the senior will like feel threatened or comfortable. In the end, the children were like, they did beyond our expectation. So made me think actually they are capable beings.
Care providers.
Yeah, they are the children. They are capable if we believe in them, and we believe that they can do it. So from the senior side, the feedback was because it was the first time, and they said some of them remembered, and so seeing a child come and talk to them, remind them of their own grandchildren, whom some of them don't get to see very often because maybe they are not staying in the same state. They are far in the kampong, or they are here and the family is in another country. And you get to see them like once a year or once in 2 years kind of thing. So having this young, of course, not every senior is happy to see young children come to life.
Of course, okay.
But I mean, it is like a try. It's like, oh, actually not too bad. It's like can jadi. One barrier I see is language.
All right.
Yeah, because you have the Chinese, those speak Chinese. There's big BM and there's big English. So you have to match with the child and the senior, right? They can speak the same language. Of course, can connect lah.
Ngam lah.
That you want the chicken and the duck eyes. Yeah, but generally, we let the children sing for them and then get them to sing together and do a game. It's quite interesting to see how they interact with each other. Yeah. Also, I got to learn about all this because the center we went to, 90% are dementia.
Oh, okay, okay.
So the memory is like not so. They remember last time cerita. We will try to continue it this year. So if you ask me, how can this work in Sabah? I really honestly don't know. Yeah.
Just want to ask a bit more in detail, Sonia, about that. Were there more elderly people than children, or what was the ratio like?
The ratio for when I brought, there were more elderly than children.
So that because my concern is that, well, Malaysia's median age right now is 30 years old, projected to be 38 by 2040. So we're considered aging population. So yeah. So if by your finding, that means less children can do more with more elderly people, right? So
yes, like the model you mentioned about this, is the setup is and the environment is very different in Sabah compared to
In Netherlands.
Netherlands. Yeah, one is language. Only one English. Here is given 3 main languages. For here not so much Nabil lah. Then you have dialect Chinese dialects again multiplied even more. Yeah. So and then access. So not all homes are open to this initiative. It's like just exploring ground.
Well, it's great that we can experiment, So it's how it works. It's very exciting, to be honest.
And she did the pilot project and turned out it's a positive result.
Yeah.
Maybe a bigger scale would be something.
So, I mean, it's great that Miss Sonia is doing something like this. So, hope if you see, can find any ways to support Miss Sonia, because maybe we have viewers that would like to assist, right?
It's still in the idea stage. But I mean, there's no harm to try, to
First. First.
see what works for Sabah. Yeah.
In the final minutes that we have for both of you today, one question for both of you. What is your hope and aspiration for especially preschool childhood education, of course STEM, basically. We will start first.
What is my aspiration?
Yes, hope and aspiration.
Well, I'm talking from private sector. My hope is that we can work together with government to provide the best for our next generation. Because these children, they may be the next chief minister for Sabah. You never know.
Never know.
Or he can be your doctor. So if we don't do a good job in bringing them up, especially in building character, not just academics, but character and moral, to be a good citizen, Sabah, and to love Sabah. So we have to make sure we do our part and do it well. So for the private sector, of course, we are always worried about financial stability and sustainability. So when I say work together with government, if government can give private sector, support, because not all private kindergartens are well to do.
Yeah.
Because the idea is, you private, you got a lot of money. And not necessary. They are not necessary. Because we do have a lot of private, yes, but they are run by NGOs. Yeah. So my hope that if you ask me for one is we can work together with government, and government can support in whatever ways that is needed. So together we can give the best for our next generation who is in this early childhood stage. Yeah.
Mr. Feder?
Ya, pada pendapat saya kita harus lihat apa cabaran utama yang kita ada dan semua pihak harus memainkan peranan masing-masing. Mulai dari termasuklah kerajaan, mulai dari pelajar, mereka harus memainkan peranan atau mereka harus lihat apa cabaran yang mereka hadapi, sama ada dalam pendidikan STEM ataupun dalam pendidikan TVET. Mereka harus kenal pasti apa potensi dan minat yang mereka ada. Dan jelas itu dibantu oleh pihak-pihak seperti ibu bapa dan juga guru untuk mengenal pasti apa potensi mereka. Karena saya melihat cabaran besar juga yang dihadapi dalam pendidikan STEM adalah ada ramai di kalangan ibu bapa yang tidak mempunyai pengetahuan yang cukup luas tentang pendidikan STEM, sehingga mereka membiarkan anak mereka untuk pilih apa yang mereka suka. Jadi dengan adanya pendekatan-pendekatan atau ceramah-ceramah atau platform yang boleh memberikan kesedaran kepada kepentingan STEM ini kepada masyarakat Sabah pada masa akan datang, maka pihak-pihak tertentu juga harus memainkan peranan mereka untuk mengadakan ceramah-ceramah atau platform seperti itulah. Jadi dan jelas juga dari pihak kerajaan harus memainkan peranan yang sangat besar lah untuk agar pendidikan STEM dan juga TVET ini dapat terus diperkasakan, di mana semua seperti yang saya katakan tadi, infrastruktur harus budget untuk infrastruktur itu harus dilengkapi dan dipenuhi, dan mana-mana sekolah yang memerlukan semua peralatan-peralatan tersebut harus dilengkapi dan harus di-provide lah. Kemudian maka saya rasa pendidikan STEM di negeri Sabah akan berkembang atau akan dapat diperkasakan dengan lebih baik lagi.
I think that we can wrap it up, Hafiz, with your conversation. But maybe we can just say a few closing remarks on that. And what do you think about
Right.
Yes.
So definitely education has few challenges, to say the least, in especially Malaysia and Sabah. And these two already talk about their expertise in their respective field. And I think all of us should play a role, especially the government as well, to make sure that what we plan become a reality. Because on paper it's half of it, half of work done. But to actually see on the ground people do it, because like Ms. One said, one of the kids probably become chief minister one day, and we want chief minister who will fully equip from the childhood education up to tertiary education. Don't you think, Adi?
Definitely, I agree. Okay, pendapat saya lah. Kenapa saya macam ada kekurangan atau cabaran di Sabah kan? Saya selalu nampak dari segi ada potensi. When there is macam glass dia half full, it still masih boleh isikan. So we ada to freedom to experiment. Like Miss Sonia pointed out, we have so many models we can adopt, we can try, we can test to see apa yang sesuai untuk Sabah kan. So Sabah ni masih muda kiranya lah sebagai negeri. So we still have a lot to go forward, to experiment, to try new things. Because model di Sabah mungkin the same atau applicable di KL atau di Johor. Yeah. So
Not only that, Sabah rural and
Sabah rural,
urban
yeah.
is
So
different.
we need to find bukan one size fits all, tapi we can create ways to make different kinds of shoes that can fit every single person, to be equitable and to be equal to everybody. So I think kan Hafiz, one of the best initiatives that can do that is the American Green Corner, which is where this episode is being shot here at the Sabah State Library. So that said, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. This is the first episode of an 8-episode series podcast, which is collaborating Kopitiam Council with Sabah, the Sabah Action Body Advocating Rights Group, which along their project, which is Suara Ketindakan, Voices to Action. So we'll be having more discussions like this with a different variety of guests, all relating to Sabah. So if you're excited for that, please stay tuned in for what is coming up next. But Hafiz, sometimes people cannot listen to full episodes. Where can we find content of Kopitiam Council in a more digestible short form format?
Of course, if you prefer more shorter format, you can go to TikTok and Instagram. There's tons of shots over there. And if you are driving, commuting to work almost an hour a day, you might want to tune in to our Spotify so they can listen to the audio version of this podcast. And of course, on YouTube here, please subscribe and like and comment what do you think about our discussion for today, so that we can, your recommendations, our recommendations can be put into reality. And with that, Adi, see you next episode.